I think we're live. So, falling into budget season. Welcome to Talk About TV, where we talk about all things experiential outdoor hospitality. I'm your host, Michelle Oliver, and Monday mornings we come to talk about one thing about experiential outdoor hospitality that will help you make better decisions for your business and your team and your brand, and most importantly, for the guest. At the end of the day, that's who we're really here to serve, right? So today we are here to talk about falling into budgeting. And I'm delighted to be here with Randy Hendrickson because today's episode is actually sponsored by Evolve Lodging. And Randy is one of the founders and CEO of Evolve Lodging. So happy Monday morning, Randy. Are we ready for Monday?
We're as ready as we can be. These Mondays come fast.
I know they really do. So here we are. And I'm really excited actually to chat with you just for a few minutes this morning about this very important topic of budgeting. It's after Labor Day. We got through Labor Day. That means a lot to a lot of people, right?
It does, I mean, there's the seasonality of parks in this industry, as we know. For some people, Labor Day kind of cuts off the active earnings season and they go into the shoulder season and the off season,
Yeah.
during which time they're starting to understand what did we learn from this year and what are we going to do to forecast for next year. So the ever fun budget time. So it's fall of the year, which means we're falling into budget season.
Yeah.
So, and for other parks, of course, they have the flip season. The winter time is their busiest time, so they're just getting ramped up for it. But in either case, in most instances, if they're using a calendar year, then they're going to be doing the budgets this winter, this fall anyway. So, what are we looking at this year different from years past? I think there are a few trends. In the course of doing what you and I do during a normal day, we'll talk to any number of operators of several parks. And there's been some universal themes this year, I think. For a lot of folks, occupancy has been down a little bit. Not true of everybody. Some folks are having amazing years. Some folks are about even. Other folks have had a little bit of a dip. So the typical stance is usually one of, well, do I need to market more? Do I need to drop rates? What do I do? Because I need to make money and I don't have a bit fewer people than I did in a lot of cases. Well, I don't think that's the place to stop the inquiry. So what I'm getting at is the folks I've been talking to are talking about budgeting very different this year. So they're talking about things like on the small end of the scale, adding some component of food and beverage, some form of entertainment, could be live local music. Maybe they're doing some golf cart rentals where they haven't entertained that idea before. It could be for parks that can do it. Some folks are determining if they want to use day use, just making the park available to people off the street for a day use type fee. So kind of the theme with that, I think, is okay, so if there's that, and really this is the right strategy, no matter if you had a great year or a stable year, whatever like that. If I'm getting some people into my park, what is more things they can do while they're here? The more they can do, the longer they might stay, and the more I can extract from that customer for their total stay from different revenue sources. But on the smaller end, we just talked about, on the larger end, a lot of folks are looking at investing in some of their sites to create a super premium site. So maybe that's a site that they're going to bring in pavers onto that site, build a large outdoor deck, put some great furniture outside on it, and get a premium rate for that, introduce a new rate class. So it's not the same cost as building an entirely new site, but just taking that handful of really good ones and popping them up to the next level. Higher guest satisfaction, higher ADR, makes a lot of sense. And of course, some folks, of course, are adding rental units from 200 square feet, which is kind of a popular new size, interestingly enough, up to the 400 square feet. All these things, of course, Evolve does. Um, and just really kind of looking at some of the larger dollar things as a reinvestment in the park itself to provide different revenue sources and more stickiness. The more things there are to do, and the better equipped and better amenitized your sites are, the more they're going to spend, the longer they're going to stay. So that's been the theme this year, I think, is not so much just I have to fix this and I got to do some roads or I got to do something like that. Folks are really thinking, okay, how do I really compete for the consumer dollar? It's with experiences. And
Hmm.
that's the difference this year. And of course, from the Evolve standpoint, yes, we'd love to talk with anybody going through their CapEx budget and let us see if we can do something to help you out with that in the form of accommodations, decks, furniture, and what have you. As the whole perspective shifts a lot more towards more things for people to do, we'd love to visit with you about that. So that's the difference this year.
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, as you're speaking, I'm thinking what a wonderful thing it is just from an overall business perspective
Yeah.
that you can take a single asset and you can create multiple streams of income because from an entrepreneurial mindset, you might want to go out and buy all these different businesses and you want passive income here and you want to create this whole portfolio. But with a single asset, you can create a portfolio of multiple streams of income. And I think people they just don't think of it that way. They get so embedded in their fixed mindset of this is how the income comes in, like you're saying, ADR. And but there's so many things you can do with this one asset. It turns into all these different businesses, really many businesses like you're talking about. And we're doing it for the right reason, which is to create the experience for the guests. Like
Why
it's
we're
kind of,
here.
it's such a beautiful business model. Honestly, it's just the right things and for the right reasons in all the right ways. So yeah, it's an
That's
inspiring way to start the week. When you think of like, and sorry, one more thing it just made me think of, because
yeah.
when you come to the end of busy, or if you're ramping up for that busy, depending on your seasonality, it's so important to just step back and reflect a little bit. And
Mhm.
it's incredible the opportunities that you can have with a single asset. So really exciting.
That's the beauty of it, and I know you just summarized it really, really well, and I agree. We've talked about such things, but that's the uniqueness of experiential outdoor hospitality is that you have this wonderful canvas upon which
Yeah.
several layers of businesses can be overlaid that are complementary, each of which can stand as their own individual business entity, right? Their own
Right.
separate profit center, but to your point, there's no better industry that you can do this with. You can't do the same thing in multifamily. You can't really do it in hotel either. Experiential outdoor hospitality, you got a bunch of dirt and a bunch of spaces. How do we move these around and add these new things to it and make it this economic machine? That's the fun.
I know, I love it. And the last thing I'll say, because I know we can get off on a on
We
tangent
do.
after tangent, but I love the meaning behind it too, because when you're serving your guest, you're serving yourself, and also you're pulling in the environment, you're supporting the local businesses, you're supporting other artistic influences, even food and beverage, like we talk about a lot. We have so many opportunities. If anybody is interested, you should just give us a call and we should have the conversation because it will make a tremendous difference in your business. And I'm thinking of the calculators that you've built and
Oh
like,
yeah,
and you're helping everyone, you're building the economy for all the locals, the
that's right.
everyone. It's such a healthy business model. So hooray. We
Hooray.
go off on another week of changing the world. But anyway, I know we wanted to keep it really brief this morning. So wishing everyone just a wonderful, wonderful, productive and purposeful week. And we're going to go work on that right now, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay. Thank you, Randy.